Hi, I'm Tess. Welcome back to Dusty Betty. Today is a new bike day, and I also have another exciting announcement. So not only do we get to unbox a new bike today, but it's also my chance to roll out an exciting bit of news. My bike sponsor for 2020 is Ibis. I'm really excited. I became a proud Ibis owner last year with my DV9. You guys know how much I love that bike. And I'm excited to feature more Ibis bikes, bring them to you guys. It's going to be a fun year with Ibis. It opens up lots of great opportunities here on Dusty Betty. All right, let's see what we got here. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. All right, can any of you tell what it is yet? Still in the bubble wrap. This is a size small frame. Woo! Sweet, I'm stoked. This is the Ripmo AF. It comes with a coil shock, which I've never run. This is the DVO Jade. This bike comes in with this build at $4,100. The welds on the aluminum frame look beautiful. And there's something really cool about an aluminum frame. I'm a pretty light rider, so I won't always go for aluminum, but there's something really cool about it. This is the SLX build, but you can get this bike with the NX build, and that one comes in around $3,000. Cool, let's get this built up and take a closer look. This is the DVO Diamond. I'm really excited to run all this DVO suspension. This is gonna be a new experience for me. One thing that's really cool about this bike and a lot of Ibis bikes is that they tune them for lighter riders. They had initially tried that, and then they realized even the heavier riders were enjoying the ride on that with less dampening. So this should be pretty sweet. I know a lot of you ladies are light riders like me, so I think this is gonna be a pretty sweet ride. It's cool that this comes with the fender. You can remove that, but kind of a nice little detail. Gonna put the derailleur hanger on now. Alright, we've got a nice aluminum wheel here, and it's got that Maxxis Assegai tire on it, which will be cool because Steve has been raving about the Assegai. That rotor looks giant. 203 millimeter. Nice. They put money in all the right places on this bike. Once those wheels are on, it really starts feeling like a bike. One thing that's cool that Ibis does is they set their tires on pretty wide rims so that it just gives you, it spreads that tire out a little more, gives you a little more surface area. I really like running, lower pressure, give myself a little more grip, riding a lot of rock and things like that. And having a wider rim like that really allows you to do that without it rolling off of the rim. These little things that come in between the brake pads, these can come in handy when you're servicing your bike sometimes, just to make sure you don't accidentally grab a brake and squeeze the pads together and then you gotta deal with that whole mess. So hang on to these if your bikes come with them. All right, it is all put together. So Ripmo AF, the AF stands for aluminum frame. So it's going to be cheaper than getting the carbon one. It's also going to be a little bit heavier, but it's nice to get into this bike with a lower price point option. This bike is an aggressive 29er, and it's known for being very pedalable while still being extremely aggressive to ride downhill. So we've got 147 millimeters of travel in the back. Fork is 160. It's interesting looking at this bike all put together, even with the 29-inch wheels, it doesn't look like this unwieldy beast that's going to be difficult to manage. It looks good on a small frame. I think it's going to be a nice ride, even for the smaller riders like me. And 29-inch bikes weren't like that a few years ago. Usually if you had a 29er bike on a small frame, it was just awkward and weird. This looks like a tight little bike. For the drivetrain, we've got Shimano SLX 12 speed, which is cool that the whole drivetrain system is SLX. Sometimes they'll just give you the derailleur because that's where people really look. But yeah, the whole drivetrain is SLX. We've also got SLX brakes, which are 4 pistons. So these are going to be a really powerful brake. They've got these cool cooling fins. So when you're hauling booty down a long downhill, that's going to help keep these from overheating, keep the power going to the brakes. It's got a 180 millimeter rotor in the back. We've got 203 in the front. We've got 170 millimeter cranks, which means they're a little shorter, so fewer pedal strikes. And we've also got a 32 tooth chain ring up here. DW Link rear suspension. And as I said, we've got the DVO Jade coil shock, which is going to be a lot of fun to try. I'm excited for this. And look at this as you come through here up toward the front of the bike. Look how low this standover is. And I know standover is really important to a lot of ladies out there. So Ibis, one of their designers, is like 5 foot nothing. And so it's something that they consider when they build these bikes. You know, whether you're a dude who's like 6 feet tall or you're a tiny little woman, like they take all these things into account. And so this is really nice. If you have to step off in a tricky spot, it's gonna help you feel like you can get your foot down easily without getting tangled in the bike. This comes with the bike yoke Revive dropper post, which is a really, really nice dropper post, and you can fit a pretty long seat post in here. What that really means is you have more range. So for a lot of us ladies, that's really nice. You get the seat height you need when you need it, but you can mash it down way out of the way when you're riding gnarly, aggressive stuff, as one would want to do on a Ripmo AF. One thing that's really cool about the bike yoke Revive is that if you're riding down the trail and your seat post is starting to get a little bit squishy, it's starting to sink on you, it's got this reset lever that you can hold and it'll get it all reset so that it takes the squish out right on the trail. That's not always easy to do with a dropper. This is the only dropper that has a reset valve like this. It's an awesome design. One thing that's really nice is that even though we've got this full suspension bike with the low standover, we still have room on the size small frame for a water bottle, which is really nice. I love using a water bottle, so that is a big deal to me. So we've got an Ibis stem and bars, so they could cut a little bit of cost there, but they've given us so much good stuff on this build. That's a great way to do it. And then we also have these Ibis grips, which are nice. They have a nice comfortable surface for your palm, but the part where your fingers are going to be gripping is definitely kind of this sticky, grippy snakeskin pattern, which it feels pretty comfortable. I'm excited to see how that rides. This frame is a nice silver. It's got some metallics in it, but the finish on top of it is matte, so it's kind of got a little bit of both. It's got really cool detailed graphics. I like the Ibis Cycle Santa Cruz over here. A little bit of trivia. Steve and I went on our first date in Santa Cruz, so that's kind of fun. So I'm 5 feet 4 inches tall and I can completely flat foot and I'm still not in contact with the frame. Like it's really nice low standover, which I don't usually stand over a bike like this when I'm stopped, but when that really becomes handy is when you are riding technical terrain, especially technical climbs, and you have to step off when you're not expecting to. Like that can actually be really nice in those situations. So I've got the seat all the way down and I can sit on the seat and still totally flat foot. If you're a weight weenie, aluminum might not be for you, and that's totally okay, but I do think it's interesting to see, so we're gonna weigh this. $34.1 pounds with pedals. So this is an aggressive bike, 147 millimeters of travel, 29-inch wheels, trail bike. This bad boy is aggressive, and it's an aluminum frame, which is meant to bring this kind of bike into a more affordable range for someone who can't buy a carbon frame. So 34 pounds, not super light, but this bike has its strengths, and we're really gonna see those shine out on the trail. I'm gonna take this on some of the world-class trails we have here in Sedona, and I'm excited to take you guys along with me. If you haven't already seen my Ibis DV9 videos, make sure that you check those out. Thank you so much, Ibis. I'm excited to work with you guys this year, and big thanks to my patron team as well. Thank you everybody for watching. Get dusty.